I knew falling in love with someone from another tribe would be difficult, but nothing could have prepared me for the battle that followed. My name is Zainab, and this is the story of how love carried us through a storm of tradition and family expectations. It was an ordinary day at the university in Lagos. I wasn't expecting to meet anyone special, let alone someone like Chinedu. He was an Igbo man, tall, full of energy, and confident. I, a reserved Hausa girl, never imagined we would be more than acquaintances. But as life would have it, our paths kept crossing, and we soon found ourselves spending more time together. Despite our differences, we clicked in ways that felt natural. Our conversations grew longer, covering everything from culture to our dreams for the future. It became clear that we had something special, but we both knew that being from different tribes would make things complicated. In Nigeria, love often runs into walls of tradition, and we were no exception. When Chinedu told his family about me, he wasn't prepared for how deeply rooted their disapproval would be. His father, especially, couldn't understand why he would want to marry outside their tribe. In his mind, family and tradition were everything, and to marry a Hausa girl was to betray those values. I faced the same resistance when I told my mother. She had always raised me to respect our culture, and the thought of me marrying an Igbo man was too much for her to accept. To her, I was turning my back on everything she had taught me. The pressure from both families weighed on us heavily, and we could feel the strain building. The interference from our families grew more intense. They each had other people in mind for us, suitable matches within our own tribes. For me, it was Bashir, a man from a well-respected Hausa family. For Chinedu, it was Ada, an Igbo woman from a reputable background. Both of us felt torn between the expectations of our families and our love for each other. There were moments when I felt like giving up. The weight of our parents' objections made it seem like our love would never survive. It was hard not to feel overwhelmed by the constant push to follow the traditions that had been laid out for us since birth. As things became unbearable, we made a choice. We realized that no matter how much we tried to please our families, we couldn't deny the love we had for each other. In the end, we decided to take matters into our own hands. We eloped, choosing to marry in a small, intimate ceremony with just a few close friends to witness it. It wasn't the big, traditional wedding that our families had imagined for us, but it was perfect in its simplicity. For the first time in months, we felt free. We had taken control of our own lives, and that was enough. The early days of our marriage were a mix of joy and hardship. Without the support of our families, we had to rely on each other more than ever. But that only made us stronger. Together, we started a small business that gradually became successful. We worked hard, but more importantly, we loved deeply. As time passed, we began to notice something. Many of our friends who had married within their tribes were facing difficulties. Their marriages, though culturally accepted, lacked the connection and understanding that Chinedu and I shared. We realized that love isn't about fitting into a cultural box, it's about choosing to support each other, no matter what. It took time, but slowly, our families began to soften. A turning point came when my younger brother fell seriously ill. Chinedu used his business connections to arrange for him to receive the best medical treatment. My mother, who had once been so opposed to our marriage, couldn't ignore his kindness and generosity. Meanwhile, Chinedu's father started to see how successful we had become as a couple. He had expected our marriage to fail, but instead, we were thriving. Gradually, he began to accept that love, not tribal loyalty, was the foundation of our happiness. In the end, both of our families came together to celebrate our love. It wasn't easy, but they saw the strength of our relationship and the happiness we had built. They realized that love isn't bound by tradition or culture, it's something deeper, something that transcends those barriers. We stood hand in hand, surrounded by both our families in a traditional ceremony that symbolized more than just our union. It represented the breaking down of barriers and the start of a new chapter, one where love could overcome even the strongest opposition. Love doesn't follow the rules that tradition sets. It defies them, and in doing so, it creates something stronger than anyone ever imagined.